Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. We are simulcasting Facebook, YouTube, so get to know one another. Be polite. Most of all, be respectful. You dig what I'm saying? Trolls do get blocked around here. You do not have a voice here. You have no rights here. Understand that. Trolls have no rights here. You will be blocked. The block party has officially opened. It has officially started. So coming here, trying to sow seeds of confusion, you will be blocked immediately. Let's see who we got in the comments. What's up, Curtis? Curtis Benford, what it do? Prentice, Studio Gangster, what up? As a reminder, fam, I do not read all cap comments. It make my head hurt. Sweet Beloved, what it do? I see ASD, Oakland, California in the building. What's up, O-Town? Galatians, what's up? Hey there. What's up, Robert Simmons? What it do, Denise Rogers? Denise Rogers, United States. I got some Rogers in my family. Got to be careful with those Rogers, man. Yeah. Miss Ruth Pacheco. It's Ruth Pacheco. What's up, Ruth? Michael Franks. Serious Nas. What's up? What's up, Brooklyn? What it do? Okay, fam. I see Patricia Coleman. Together, everyone. Woe am I. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Bughorse DC in the building? Shalom. Okay, fam. What's up, Sandra? Mr. Serve, Mr. Self-Serve, Eddie Sorrell. Or should I say Sorrell? I'm going in, fam. I'll come back to the comments later. Going in right now. We got another packed episode. Family, as you may have seen on the thumbnail, this is America. I'm talking about we have some of the most uncivilized human beings per capita in the world. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. So we got one human being here is actually a civilized human being. This is J. Cole, fam. J. Cole got something to say about the so-called theory of the good cop. You might want to hear that. We got Cassie. Cassie, some people say Cassie is now experiencing her karma. Yeah, they say Cassie got some karma on the way. It is being delivered express mail, fam. Yeah, Cassie is being sued now. Yeah, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Yeah. And then we got this guy, Kevin Stefanski. He is the coach for the Cleveland Browns. This dude is incorrigible. Look, fam, this dude has been hating on Shedeur Sanders since Shedeur Sanders was at Jackson State. You dig? He's been a hater. You can't tell me this dude is not a hater. We're going to get into what he did, his latest transgression against Shedeur. We also have the story of this DOJ okay. The DOJ is after former FBI Director James Comey. They really want him bad. And a judge just shot down some of the evidence that they were trying to present. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I got a lot to say about that. We'll get to that. Also, fam, buckle up for this one. Let's start with this one. Let's start with the Cinnabon worker, Karen, who she called some Somali Americans everything but a child of God, and she proudly declared her racism. She said, yeah, I'm a racist, and threw up the FU signs and was like, yeah, look at me slobbering out the mouth like a monster. Look at me, I'm uncivilized. I hate you, yeah. Yeah, man, she came with it. And she was put on blast and promptly fired by the good folks over at Cinnabon. I don't know if I want to say good folks because they shouldn't have hired her in the first place. They probably knew what she was about, but once you become a liability, they have to let you go. So I would just say the folks over at Cinnabon got rid of her. Check out, fam. This is what all the fuss is about.
Person?
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to throw water on you? I am racist.
So idiot for
And
real.
you are an
Idiot. No,
I
I'm
am
not.
racist, and I'll say that to the whole entire world. Don't be disrespectful.
You ruin your life, by the way.
Oh, talking about
Bye.
you talking about respect? You talking about respect? You are fired from this place, man. You're not gonna be working here. Sakwa. Look how you talking about ugliness?
Did I stutter?
You're the ugliest person I ever seen in my life.
Good.
Fuck.
Your fucking
No, we're
face
not.
for
No,
what?
we're not. No, we're not.
Because you know damn well you're a
That's
fucking
respect.
evil
That's
fuck.
respect. Keep squeezing that caramel, bitch.
Wow. Just wow. Fam, this uncivilized mutt, as I said, was fired from her gig at Cinnabon. And you would think, okay, end of story. Not so fast. The uncivilized mutt ran straight to the very conservative Christian crowdfunding site, Give, Send, Go. And she launched a campaign called Stand with Crystal after she was fired. The campaign went up right after she lost her job, and the money started rolling in. I'm talking about the good times, baby. The good time, racist, uncivilized mutts of America and beyond. Because remember, the racists are not just because the incident happens in America doesn't mean that when people donate, they're only donating from America. These are racist, uncivilized mutts around the world, perhaps in one of your favorite non-racist country. Did you catch that? Yeah, fam. The fundraiser used racially coded language and flipped the story to paint her as a victim instead of the aggressor, even though the whole internet saw her behavior, witnessed her calling these people all kinds of derogatory names. The donations poured in from these racist, uncivilized mutts quicker than they could get off an N-word. I mean, I'm talking about quick. Yeah, fam. And they treated her like a rock star. They're treating her like a rock star, like she's some type of martyr. See, Give, Send, Go. They have a pattern. They have a pathology about the way that they do things. They come off as this Christian organization, but many of the racist, the pro-racist, uncivilized mutts of America flock to them in droves when they commit transgressions against Black and brown people, and they run and play the victim. So they run to play the victim, and they have a place where they can actually go. They can actually say bad things about people, do bad things. And their bad behavior, they have an actual place where they're bad, they can go and have bad behavior rewarded. They get to come up off their bad behavior. They can get a bag. And we know for many of them, the most important thing in the world is money. Yeah. They can hate your guts. They don't want their kids dating no black, but let that black have a bankroll. They'll make an exception. Now, they still hate the blacks, but they'll tolerate being around you to get to the bank. Yeah. You see? Yeah. They're going to get that money by any means. So she loses her job harming black people, like many of the people who go to that site. And then she walk away with a bag of money and a built-in fan base. Can anybody say accountability? Oh, no, not in this particular instance. You can't say accountability. It just amazes me how many people who are like her, who loves to scream accountability and how people need to get their act together and contribute to society and be good, wholesome, positive, progressive, forward-thinking people, would contribute to the community, contribute to society. But somehow, when it comes to them, there's an exception. Give, Send, Go campaigns for members of the Proud Boys and other far-right groups that have been banned from mainstream. So when nobody else wants these uncivilized mutts, Give, Send, Go says, come on down. They had multiple sites up, multiple campaigns up for January 6th attackers, the January 6th Capitol attackers. They had, literally like dozens and dozens of sites up. It may have been hundreds. They, this is what they do. They have a pattern. They get rewarded for bad behavior. Where else? Like, what other type of group can you be a part of and actually get rewarded for bad behavior? This is why there's such a problem with racism in America, because the uncivilized mutts reward other uncivilized mutts for their uncivilized behavior. This doesn't stop at Cinnabon. This also is pervasive in law enforcement. How many times have we seen police officers be accused of illegally killing people, violating people's rights? And next thing you know, they got a promotion. You want to know what happened to that boy? Well, he got promoted. Yeah. You want to know what happened to that boy? He raped some woman and he got promoted. He broke into somebody's house illegally. He got promoted. Yeah. He beat up a little kid. He got promoted. Yeah. So this is what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. This uncivilized mutt, who is the worst, by far the worst of the worst in this country. She makes these statements to these people and drags them in the most inhumane way, and then she gets rewarded with a GoFundMe, with a Give, Send, Go. Now I want to say this, fam. I really should have said this at the very beginning. I should have offered a disclaimer on these comments, because I heard a rumor. It's just a rumor, but I got to share it because I typically don't share rumors, but I'm going to share this rumor because it's significant to this case. I heard a rumor that this chick colluded with the Somali Americans so that they could get paid together. Not totally unbelievable. But before I go any further with that narrative, check out this video.
You guys see this? They deadass have a GoFundMe for her, and she already raised $41,000, almost 42. And ours is sitting at $20. Racist gets 41. The victim gets $20.
Now, you heard that. So there's right now that same, I believe it's the same campaign for the alleged victims. It's approaching $5,000. It's approaching $5,000. If that narrative is true, that the victims went and raised $5,000 and the aggressor, the criminal, went out and raised over $100,000. That just goes to show you how backwards America is. This is not a land of morality. There is no moral compass attached to this country. There are some moral people, but there is no moral compass, because there is a system in place here to reward bad behavior from certain people. There's a system in place. And this keeps the machine going. It keeps the machine well oiled. When you have uncivilized mutts, especially lazy uncivilized mutts, who sit back and say, I don't have any money. I'm useless. I don't have any talent. I don't have any real talent. What can I do to get paid? Oh, I can do something racist, and maybe the racist sympathizers will rock with me. Maybe they'll give me some money. Maybe they'll give my poor loser, racist, lazy ass some money. I'll go out and do something racist, and you can get paid. Where else can this happen but in America? Where else? Where else could this happen but in America? And these uncivilized mutts, fam, have no shame. This is why all of us need to be on code. Anytime somebody gets misused by one of these uncivilized mutts, we got to let our money do the talking the way they let their money do the talking. They don't have to go out and explain nothing. They don't have to give you a long speech. They don't have to give those uncivilized mutts a long speech. Hey guys, we need to stick together so we can continue our racist ways, and because they're this and we're this, and I hate them. I just can't stand them, and I know you feel the same way. So we need to stick together, and we need to help each other. When one of us lose our job for being uncivilized, we need to make sure that we come to the rescue and make sure that they have a warm meal and a place to stay. We got to do this, man. We got to stick together. They don't have to have no speech. All they got to do is roll that beautiful bean footage. And they jump on code just like this. For us, you could literally have a black person get hung in Times Square. And it has to be, the news got to pick it up. The bloggers got to pick it up. Everybody got to pick it up and make a big deal out of it before we start deciding that we might want to get behind it. And we got to have a big old speech. Listen, man, the family is this and the family going to need this. You already know what the family needs. When you see these type of things happening, you already know what the family needs. You already know the family going to need a lawyer. You already know the family probably going to have to move. They're going to probably have to relocate. You already know that they're going to they may not be able to go to work. You already know that. Why it's got to be a big ass speech every time something happens? We should jump right on it. Now, having said that, I don't know what this situation is about, why these particular people need to have a GoFundMe. I don't know, Okay, we know she was racist, but did they lose any money? Like, how are they not, I'm trying to figure out, how they're justifying having a GoFundMe. What I should have did, I guess what I should have done is read their reasoning, read their mission statement here. Let me see. Let's see, what did they call that? No, that's going to take too long. I'm not going to go through it. But if anybody can enlighten me. But I need to know why they need to raise money. I got it why the uncivilized mutt need to raise money, because she broke. She ain't got no job. She working at Cinnabon. So we already know Cinnabon don't pay well anyway. So she's probably just made more money in the last 24 hours or so than a whole family that made in an entire 10 years. She looked like trailer trash. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all by her behavior. Now, this is what I want you to think about, fam. That same behavior is responsible for being attached to the hands that make and prepare your food when you go to Cinnabon. So for her to have that type of mentality, that type of venom, that type of vitriol for Black people, imagine how many times she's dropped a little something, some fluids from her body inside of your meal, inside of your bun or your drink, your fountain drink. Imagine how many times she spit, how many times she served people, Black people. I mean, this ain't no just regular prejudiced racist. This is venom racist. This is seething racist. This is a different type of this is MAGA 2.0 racist. This is, I'm going to a hanging today. We're going to the hanging. My whole family, we're at the hanging, and they're drinking lemonade, watching a Black person get hung. That's her. She's that type. She's that type of racist. So imagine what she has done to Black folks' food and others. I want y'all Latinos to understand something. You Asians, you Arabs, you need to understand something. You ain't no different. Some of y'all be thinking it's just, they just hate the Blacks. They hate your ass too. You just got covered because you have a country that will stick up for you if something happens to you. And, it's something has some type of racial component to it, that could be bad for international business. So you have a country, but you ain't no different. They don't like you either. You ain't no different. You ain't special. And these Somalis have been learning over the last several months that ain't nothing special about them. They think they're special. No, you ain't special. I'm especially talking about the ones in Minnesota. They thought they were special. We're going to vote for Trump. We're going to help him. He's going to help us solve this crime problem, and he's going to help us get jobs. He's going to make the country safer. Trump told them fools, y'all garbage. You garbage, and your children are garbage. Your mama and your daddy garbage. Your whole country is garbage. All you do is ride around go around shooting each other all day and killing each other. Told it to him in their face. He didn't even try to hide it. It wasn't even like it was a secret recording. It wasn't a leaked recording. He said it to their face in front of the international community. Y'all garbage. He told you what you think of. And your dumb ass still up there talking about, well, I'm still a Republican. I still believe in the platform. I still believe in the party and da-da-da. You big dummy. Some of y'all had to be brainwashed, man. It had to be some type of concerted effort to brainwash you. Because that makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that you can listen to the words coming out of a man's mouth who says he hates you and says the most derogatory things about you and your people, and you still support that person. You still see the goodness in them. Boy, something really wrong with y'all. I don't know what the hell happened, but boy, they did a number on some of y'all, and some of y'all mamas and daddies did it to you. Yeah, some of your mamas and daddies were jigaboos and chuck and jivers. Yeah, your mamas and your daddies did it to you. Cold game, cold game. So the uncivilized mutt is roaming the streets with a bag full of money. You can look at her and tell she gonna blow it. If she raised 300,000, if she raised 400,000, she gonna blow it in a matter of days. She looked like she on meth or something anyway. Family, let's get into Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is the coach for the Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski is one of those dudes that I do believe. This is my personal belief. I believe Kevin Stefanski is a hater. He's one of those dudes that you have on your team, and he's trying to figure out a way to sink the boat. He's the dude on the boat while everybody's doing this, and everybody's rowing. He's back there trying to drill a hole in the boat. Secretly, he's trying to drill a hole in the boat. That's him. Family, the Cleveland Browns had a chance to tie their game on yesterday. On yesterday, they played against, let's see, who was that they played against yesterday? That was, they played against the, who was that they played against? Cleveland Browns, the Titans. They played against the Titans. And this dude pulled Shedeur Sanders out of the game, although Shedeur Sanders had the hot hand. He pulled him out of the game. The decision by the Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski to pull quarterback Shedeur Sanders from a crucial potential game-tying two-point conversion against the Titans sparked massive backlash, with fans and analysts demanding Stefanski be fired for the inexplicable play call, which failed and sealed the loss, despite Sanders' excellent performance and measured post-game response. Salute to Shedeur for taking the high road. He really don't have a choice right now. He took the high road. He said he's not going to question his coach. Great answer. What did he say on Family Feud? Good answer. Good answer. I can't advise any other response, right? But this Stefanski guy, I ain't got to take the high road. I'm just going to take the road that leads to this dude's firing, because what he did was incomprehensible. Fam, this dude, the Browns were down 31-29 with seconds left. They needed a two-point conversion to tie the game. Shedeur Sanders had already thrown for over 360 yards and 4 touchdowns, leading late game rallies. He had the hot hand in this particular game. Stefanski opted for a wildcat formation with a halfback pass, which failed, sealing the loss. Stefanski took full responsibility. He said, hey, man, that's on me. It's on me. But that did not quell the call for this dude to be fired. Family, let me ask you something. Let me just ask you something. A lot of y'all listening play sports. If nowhere else you play sports in high school, right? You play sports in middle school, high school, right? Play some kind of sports. You participate in some type of sports. You know, like I know, if somebody have the hot hand, would you take them out of the game? Or would you leave them in the game? He don't even have to be the star player. If you put a player in the game, if he's in the game and he has the hot hand, you got to let him cook. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? That was a dude who played for the Detroit Pistons, right? And he was not a starter. Vinnie Johnson was his name. Vinnie Johnson was not a starter. He was a key six man during the bad boy era, who earned the nickname for his incredible ability to score points quickly and heat up the offense off the bench. That's what he did. That was his thing. Vinny could come in and give you 15 real quick. Boom. And then he cooled off. Then they pull him out the game and then, you know. But he could help. He would help spark comebacks. He would help energize the team time and time and time again. Over and over and over again, he would help energize the team to lead the team to go, you know, on a run, you know, and help the team get back in the game, or, you know, help them get further ahead. That was his thing. Whenever they put Vinny in the game, he'd light up. When he got in the game, they left him in the game until he cooled off. So how does this make sense? I don't want to hear nothing about no man where this was the best play. This. Man, you lead. If the man got the hot hand, you let him cook. Let the man cook. So this leads me to believe that the coach, he must have wanted to lose the game. He either wanted to lose the game or he wanted to win, but he didn't want Shador to get the credit. That's right, I said it. He either wanted to lose or he wanted to win, but he didn't want Shador to get the credit. Or perhaps there's a third explanation here. Perhaps, just perhaps, Kevin Stefanski is indifferent to winning. You know, he's never had a winning record for the Cleveland Browns. He's had a winning season. He's had some winning seasons, but I'm talking about his overall record for the Cleveland Browns is very dismal. His overall record for the Cleveland Browns is what? Subpar? The dude is 43 and 53, fam. He's 43 and 53 in the regular season, and he's 1-2 in the playoffs. 43 and 53 record. That's his record. He has a losing record over 6 years in the NFL. Why is he still coaching? Mike Tomlin over there in Pittsburgh, the black coach, this dude ain't never had a losing season in 18 years. He's been the head coach for Pittsburgh since 2007. He's never had a losing season. And even when he has a dismal season where he still have a winning record, they start talking about perhaps replacing him. This dude job has never been on the line except now. There had just starting to be murmurs of him being fired. People are starting to say, hey man, maybe this dude got to go. This dude has to go. And maybe it took Shedeur Sanders to put the spotlight on him and his subpar record. But he got to go, man. I do believe that this dude he's only there to be a provocateur. He's only there to sabotage Shedeur. It's like he's hanging on to make sure Shedeur don't shine. I think Shedeur Sanders is his best shot of saving his job. He's so slow. He's so full of vitriol for Shedeur Sanders that he cuts off his nose to spite his face. This dude is supposed to let Shedeur Sanders cook. He's supposed to go in there and say, yo, I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna play the young rookie. I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna ride this out. I'm gonna ride it out with him. This is my best shot. And here's the deal. If he plays Shedeur, he looks like, and Shedeur does well, he saves his job. Automatically, he saves his job. But he's been there so long. He's been in a position where he's been a loser so long, being allowed to make millions of dollars and coach men in one of the most physical sports in the game, one of the most physical sports in the world. He probably has that arrogance, like, no matter what happens here, I'm going to land on my feet because I got that. Yeah, man. That's what that's about. Stefanski, I don't like that dude. I don't like him at all. I do not like him because I do believe that he's trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders' career. I believe that this dude is a hater amongst haters. And he got to go. He got to go. The fans on social media lit him up last night. They tore him up. They exploded on this fool. They were like, nah, man, this is inexplicable. This is inexplicable. He got to go. Shedeur showed some maturity. He refused to blame Stefanski in the post-game press conference. Yeah, he stated that he'd never go against his coach's call. I'll never go against my coach's call. But he also noted that he would rather have had the ball in his hands. I think that was a great response, a great politically correct response for him, because the margin of error is extremely small for him. He has to pretty much pitch a shutout in regards to character from him out, because they really are looking for any reason to blame him for any type of mishap, any failure to produce. They're going to try to blame him. So he has very little margin of error. But I think those words will come back to haunt him. I don't know of a quarterback in history who have been around for multiple years who did not challenge his coach's call. Sometimes coaches get it wrong. They get it wrong. And I think that when they get it wrong, it just depends on your relationship also with the coach, though. Depends on your relationship. If you have a type of relationship with a coach, it's a good relationship, and your coach made a bad call, you don't put the coach on blast. You do not put your coach on blast. You got to realize that you're all on the same team. And so you look out for each other, you cover for each other, and you hold each other responsible. So if you disagree with the call, you tell the coach in private. You do not go to the media and put your coach on blast. You say what you got to say in private. You keep it in the locker room. You keep it between the walls of that locker room. You don't go out and blast your coach. That's how you get shipped to another city or shipped all the way out of the league. So salute to Shador for taking the higher ground and showing that maturity. And this is a youngster, fan. What is Shador, like 22 or something? 21, 22, 23 or something? For him to show that type of maturity, it's extremely telling. It's revealing. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign that he was raised well. Despite the situation, Shador showed maturity. He showed maturity, refusing to blame his coach. But that loss was devastating, and that loss is going to be one of those losses that people are going to remember. That play call is one of those calls, and it's just the regular season. They don't have a chance at the playoffs, but to make that type of call in that type of critical moment, that's not going to be forgotten soon. The focus immediately shifted to Stefanski's decision, and people just started questioning his coaching ability. I would have been questioning his coaching ability with a 43-53 record. He didn't need to lose that 53rd game for me to question his coaching abilities. I would have. First of all, he wouldn't even be coaching for my team. I'm not going to have no losing ass coach on my team for 6 years. I'm going to give you a chance, man. If I own the team, I'm going to give you one. I'll give you a season, maybe 2, to see what you're going to do. I got to see some progress, though. I may not just fire you just right off the rip. But, man, you got to win. You want to be part of my organization. You want to be part of my team. You got to be a winner. You got to have a winning spirit. It has to upset you to win, man. You have to lose sleep when you lose. When you lose a game, if you're going to play for me, you got to lose sleep when you lose. You can't be all right. You cannot lose and be at the club before the regular club goers are at the club. That was a time when the Rockets, they used to lose games and the players be in the club before the regular club patrons would show up in the club. They'd be all at the bar and everything. I'm like, man, they just be laughing and joking. I'm like, and I'm mad because I'm wearing the city on my chest for real. I wear the city on my chest. So I'm thinking, this fool is at the bar drinking and having fun, socializing, and they just got kicked out the playoffs. Oh, man, I used to take that personally. I used to take it personally, fam. I used to be sitting there like mean mugging. I'm like, man, all the fam. Yeah, man, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I did not like that at all. Yeah, I used to be like across the way, like, man, I'm weighing it out like, man, I ought to, And then this is what I ultimately concluded about athletes. These guys get paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. If they don't care, I do not care. If they don't care, I don't care. Why should I care? They're the ones making the money. They're the ones getting all the money. All I get is a temporary high, from winning, or a temporary low from losing. So if they don't care, why should I care? Yeah. But man, I used to take that stuff personally. I used to even think about, like, even now, if I owned a sports team and a dude wasn't performing, man, it's gonna be a different type of it ain't gonna be just no regular old not performing for a whole year like that. Nah. Because there used to be times when guys would come to Houston and they would kick back. Once they would shine in another city. And then once they got to Houston and they got their big contract, they would just lay back and not produce. They would be a shadow of themselves when they come to Houston. Or they come to Houston, play hella strong the first year or two until they get that new contract, and then they go into cruise control. Show me nothing. Ooh, I didn't like that, man. And I was saying to myself, man, if I owned a football team and I stroked the check to a dude and he started Cadillacing, yeah, he gonna be coming through that tunnel or something, and ding, fries and shake. Yeah, man. Man, you ain't finna just get my money like that and do me in my city like that, man. Nah, man, you're gonna have to get out there, man. And okay, I can't trade you right now, but we missed it. So you're gonna have to perform, man. Something, it's gonna be a problem, bro. You're gonna have to perform. You want to face them dudes on the field, or do you want to face these dudes in the field? Yeah, it's gonna be a problem, man. Yeah, all that tough talk, I don't give a damn how big you are, all that tough talking, all them weights you lifting and all that ain't gonna mean nothing. That ain't gonna mean nothing. Because I'm gonna make sure the pressure is something you can't handle. Yeah, man, I'm not having that, man. I wouldn't do that. That's why, as much as I dislike Michael Jordan as a person, as a basketball player, man, I'm starting my franchise with Michael Jordan. That dude wanted to win. That dude was serious about winning. And he wanted to win every day. He wanted to win every single day he stepped out on that court. He wanted to win. He was intentional about winning, and he was intense. Kobe Bryant, same way. Intentional, intense. Olajuwon was like that. Man, go back and watch Hakeem Olajuwon play. Always focused. You never see Hakeem out there giggling and shit. Like, what's that dude named Howard that played for the Lakers and he came to Houston? I did not like when he came to Houston because I knew he was a joker. I knew he wasn't serious. I knew he wasn't going to help us win nothing. But the big dude, the center, his name's Howard. That dude he used to play too much on the sidelines. All that playing, man, we in a game, bro. We got a game going on. We trying to figure out how to win. We trying to get this W, man. We got the playoffs on the line. We win or go home. And you on the sideline giggling? What the hell is so funny? And we down. And you laughing and joking and playing? I don't like that, man. I don't like that. I do not like that. That's Dwight, yeah, that's his name, Dwight Howard. I don't like that dude. I don't like him. As a basketball player, I do not like him because he has so much potential. He was so naturally gifted. If he had put some extra work in, he probably would have won multiple championships. I don't know if he got a championship or not because I just didn't follow the dude. I know he played for the Lakers, so he might have at least one championship over there, but I didn't follow him because he didn't have the heart. I like to follow people that got the heart. Even if you're not the star player, if I know every single time you get out there on that court, you giving it everything you got, I'll rock with you, man. I'll rock with you. If you're going to give me some of that Dennis Rodman diving into the audience, you're going to dive into the crowd for the ball? Wait a minute, this dude going to risk life and limb to get the ball. Oh man, hey man, I know you're wearing them damn wedding gowns and dresses and stuff, man. But man, as a basketball player, I got to rock with that, man. I'm taking Dennis Rodman, man. Come on, man. This dude is serious about winning. He wants to win. And if we get into a fight, he's gonna be right there, ready to back up. Like, what's up? He got my back. Nah, man. Nah, yeah. I like them. I like those type of players. I like those type of players. Give me a Charles Oakley, man. You ain't got to score 1 point. Just make sure he don't score. Yeah, just make sure you protect that basket. Yeah, give me that dude. Give me that Ron Artest, man. Give me that Vernon Maxwell, man. Give me Vernon. Yeah, man. Yeah, give me those dudes that got that heart, that's serious about playing. Give me that Allen Iverson when he on the court. Not practice. I don't want to practice Allen Iverson. Give me Allen Iverson on the court. Fearless. Going up in the middle of them giants and making contact. Hitting the floor. Damn near every time he shot the ball. Every time he went to the hole, he hit the floor. Allen Iverson. Fearless. Put his heart in every play. Give me that dude. These dudes, yeah, if I was an owner and I stroked the check, I'm talking about it, especially if you came and I gave you a big check for performing well. Now I just gave you this big old contract and now you want a Cadillac? Nah, man, you can't stay here, bro. You can't even stay in my city, bro. We don't do losing over here. This is a winning organization. We don't do losing. You got to go. You got to get up out of here. I don't give a damn. You got to get up out of here. Now, I know a lot of these team owners, they don't care nothing about the players. So they get what they get. But I would be one of those owners that care about my players. I would care about the players. It would mean something to me if a player got hurt. It would mean something to me if a player was aging and we had gotten a lot out of that player already, and that player helped us win. I'm making sure that, okay, whatever I do right by that player. If we got to make the trade, we make the trade, but I make sure that I'm fair and I try to make the trade somewhere where he want to be at. You did? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm not with all of that. I'm not with all of that. I'm not with those dudes coming out on the field and playing around and taking this thing for a joke. If you don't play for nothing else, you play for pride. You know, once you get your money, what's your motivation for being on the field? What's your motivation for still climbing into the ring? Pride. That's why it was so difficult to beat Floyd Mayweather in his later years before his retirement. Pride. His pride. Different level. That's why Ali came back 3 times and reclaimed the World Heavyweight Championship. Pride. Yeah, money was a factor, but that pride is why he won, because he could still gotten paid, but pride propelled him to win. Yeah. Family, let's get into this story of James Comey. James Comey is a former FBI director, right? Let's see, where are we here? Hold on, let me. Okay, why is this not adding? Okay, we're trying to get out of there. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Judge deals setback to Justice Department effort to seek new indictment against Comey. Yeah, fam. It's going down. It's going down. There's James Comey. There's James. A federal judge has dealt a setback to Justice Department efforts to seek a new indictment against former FBI Director James Comey, temporarily barring prosecutors from using evidence they had relied on when they initially secured criminal charges. Let me share this video with you guys real quickly, and y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. Here we go.
The Justice Department is looking to bring a new indictment against former FBI Director James Comey, but now a federal judge is dealing the DOJ a setback. We have Olivia Rubin, who's here now with the details. So, Olivia, what's the latest on this?
Well, as you said, this is a setback in a case that has already been set back for the Justice Department in its efforts to criminally indict James Comey. Of course, they already have done so, but that was dismissed because a judge ruled that the prosecutor who appointed him, put in place by the president, was not lawfully appointed. So that indictment was dismissed, and now the Department of Justice has to go back at it again. But today, they are now hindered from using some of the evidence that they were using previously, though this is only temporary, a judge ruling that they cannot have access to some of that evidence that they were using because they may have improperly accessed it, temporarily blocking them, Perry, from using it going forward. This relates to data that they got off of a computer from a friend of James Comey, the former FBI director, who was indicted on charges of lying to Congress. This friend was allegedly the conduit and some of that information on the computer, some of the key evidence that the Justice Department relied on. But here's the catch. The judge said that essentially they had that information from years ago and that they just accessed it again without getting a new warrant. That's something that could have violated the constitutional rights of this friend. So again, this is going to continue to play out. This is just a temporary ruling. But again, it is another blow to this case that has seemed to have some difficulties from the beginning.
And this all comes a few days after a grand jury did not indict New York AG Letitia James. What was the department's strategy in that case after the prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, was disqualified?
Again, it's the same case as James Comey because that prosecutor, as you say, Lindsay Halligan, she was disqualified. So they have to go after that indictment again. And to see, I will say, to see a grand jury not indict, legal experts in the field often say it's not easy to secure a grand jury indictment, but it's just one side of the story. The prosecutor goes in, they present their evidence. Usually certainly it's not the same bar as convicting someone at trial, right? Those are very different bars. It's a lower bar here. So it's notable that this grand jury did not indict. But again, we'll have to see where the Justice Department goes from here. But again, what we're talking about here is just setback after setback in cases that, critics here say are really just meant to go after the president's perceived political enemies. But of course, the Justice Department and President Trump says are fair and valid investigations and that they will pursue them.
Olivia Rubin, thank you for that. We appreciate it.
A fair. Let me be more professional. The president said that he and his Justice Department are looking only for fair and righteous prosecution of James Comey. This is not personal. Who believes that? Who believes that Donald Trump's pursuit of former director James Comey is not personal? Give me a thumbs up if you believe it. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, it's personal. Say, fam, James Comey did exactly what he was supposed to be doing. This administration and no administration should have that much power over the DOJ. They should not have, the president should not have the type of power that he has over the DOJ, where he can fire people on a whim and he can pressure people to prosecute people. We already knew that the system was compromised, but this is further proof that this system is beyond compromise. Remember, these judges are people too. These judges got families. These judges have careers. And many of these judges are appointed judges, and they want to keep their positions. They don't want to have to worry about running up against some stiff competition and losing their position, or actually even being disbarred. They don't want to have to run into anything like that. So their whole game is, to ride the line. I don't believe that Trump will ultimately be successful prosecuting James Comey. I think he's going to be successful to an extent. I think that eventually he might just get what he wants. He'll probably get the prosecution, because Trump wants to see a high-level official go through what he went through when he was indicted on those 34 charges, where he was convicted on those 34 charges. He want to see somebody else go through that. He's vowed to get vengeance on James Comey and Letitia James, the AG over in New York. He's vowed vengeance, and he wants to keep his word. Anytime there's something diabolical, something evil, something negative, and he says he's going to do it and he wants to keep his word on it, he keeps his word. Now, if it's something positive, if it's something meaningful, something of substance, and it's somehow going to help the American people, it's going to give the American people some type of relief, then he doesn't care too much about keeping those promises. But if he promises something bad, he tries to keep those promises, because he knows that a lot of bad people voted for him to carry out bad acts. I know some of y'all bad people are in the comments. That's your problem, not mine. I got to call a strike, and a ball. If you didn't move in that type of manner, I wouldn't be calling you out. But I do believe that Trump will ultimately succeed in prosecuting Letitia James and James Comey. He's going to find a prosecutor who can get that job done. And I think that they probably will also get convictions. I think they'll get convictions. They might even send them to prison. Ultimately, they will be exonerated. They will be pardoned. But I think he's going to run them through the mud. He's going to try to drag them all the way through the mud and hurt them as much as he can, because that's what Trump does. That's what he does. He tries to hurt people. And that's because hurt people hurt people. Somewhere down the line, somebody hurt Donald Trump. I don't think you get to be the type of person that Donald Trump is without somebody hurting you. I think something happened to Trump as a child. Something happened to him. And, it carried on through adulthood. A lot of us have experienced trauma, but we don't extract revenge like he does. And we don't go looking for trouble the way he does. Trump actually goes looking for trouble. Every day he wake up, and usually his adversaries are Americans. He's always beefing with Americans. How you beefing with your own citizens, man? You supposed to be beefing with the people over there. That's like somebody in your house always want to fight you. They always beefing with you. But then they go out into the rest of the world and they like, hey, we're going to get along. We're doing great. How would that make you feel? How would that make you feel if your family member, let's say it's your mom or dad, they go out into the world and they try to get along with everybody. They go out into the world, they try to get along with everybody. And, we had a wonderful meeting. They always talk about these wonderful meetings they had and how great things turned out. But then when they come home and they deal with you, they become something different. They're diabolical. They're the devil's advocate. That is the way that Trump deals with American citizens. All of his enemies, we can name so many, they're Americans. We can talk about perceived enemies, foreign perceived enemies, but who do we name? Usually when we talk about a perceived enemy, a foreign enemy, we talk about Putin. We say Putin, or we talk about, Buddy in China. That's it. Few people say stuff about Netanyahu, but he's not an enemy. He's the puppeteer. But how do you reconcile constantly arguing, bickering, having beef with your own people? And these are people that you're supposed to have stewardship over. These are people that you're actually supposed to be trying to protect, give hope to. Constantly just beefing with singers, football players, baseball players. He beefing with actors and, he beefing with Hollywood actors, military members. Strange. Very, very strange to me. Very strange. Family. Oh, shucky ducky. We got one for you right here, man. This is a big one right here, fam. Boom. Yeah. You see that dude right there on the left? That's Clayton Howard. Yeah. And Clayton Howard is suing Cassie. Clayton wants his bag, man. Clayton wants his money. Clayton say, yeah, man, she did me dirty and I want to get paid. Yeah. And then you got people out there that are saying, hey, man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Cassie is currently a co-defendant in a civil lawsuit filed by former male escort Clayton Howard, who claims she and Sean Diddy Combs trafficked him and abused him. The lawsuit against Cassie as follows. Clayton Howard filed the lawsuit in July 2025, naming both Diddy and Cassie as defendants. Here are the allegations. Clayton, who claims he worked for the couple for about 5 years, alleges he was drugged, manipulated, and forced to participate in sexual encounters for their entertainment. He also claims Cassie forced him to have unprotected sex, which resulted in him contracting an STD and aborting his child without his consent. Woo, man. Not Cassie, not sweet, innocent Cassie. No way possible. You got people that are saying, no, I don't believe him. Look how he looks. They would have never done that with him. But he got receipts. Clayton said he got receipts. Clayton said he got receipts, man. And he wants his day in court. He wants his day in court with Cassie. And I guess he's going to want his day in court eventually with Diddy when Diddy gets out. But right now, his focus is solely on Cassie. Now, what damages are being sought? Well, Clayton is seeking compensation for physical and psychological harm, medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Yeah. This lawsuit was filed shortly after Diddy's criminal trial, where Cassie testified against her former partner. Okay, so before being sued herself, Cassie filed a high-profile lawsuit against Sean Combs in November 2023, accusing him of a decade of RAPE, physical abuse, and sex trafficking. They settled for $20 million. And this, family, was just one day after the lawsuit was filed, and it was said to be in an undisclosed amount, but we know now that that amount was $20 million. She was originally asking for $30 million. So what is the impact of the lawsuit? Well, her lawsuit was a key factor that led to the federal investigation and subsequent criminal charges against Diddy. She later testified about her experiences with the abuse during Diddy's sex trafficking trial. Now, here's the case. If what's good for the goose is good for the gander, will Cassie be now charged? Will she now be charged? You know, her allegations against Diddy is what opened up the Pandora box for the feds to come in and get Diddy. Will Clayton Howard's revelations against Cassie, these charges against Cassie, will it spur the proper authorities to investigate Cassie and bring her to justice finally? Because you know she was a co-conspirator. You know, if Diddy did anything wrong and Cassie was with him, well, Cassie is also responsible. She's also part of the criminal enterprise. So what I want to know, will Cassie now be charged? Will the DOJ have the same energy for Cassie as they had for Diddy? Homie, don't think so. Homie, don't think so. I do not believe that they're going to come for Cassie. I think she signed one of those deals where she could never be charged in the future for anything related to Diddy. That's, if I was a lawyer, that's what I would have advised. Not only do I have immunity for this particular case, for anything that's remotely related to this case, I will not be charged in the future, or my client will not be charged in the future. You say anything she wants, anybody come with any type of charges in the future, she will not be charged. That's the deal I would have made for my client. I don't know if she made that deal, but I don't believe that they'll come for Cassie. I think Cassie is going to drive off into the sunset with her $30 million. Well, I guess she didn't get the whole 30, but she'll get at least maybe 60% of that money. So, what is that? There's somewhere in between 20 million, somewhere around 20. Let's see, 15, 17 million, something like that. 17.5, something like that. But yeah, after she break bread with the lawyers, she probably out of that 30 million left with about 17 million. Yeah, 17 million, 20 million, somewhere between 17 and 20 million. Not a bad day's work. Didn't take long once she got to the money though. Didn't take long at all. She got that suit. Diddy, in one day, stroked the check for $20 million, and the hotel turned around and gave her $10 million for being assaulted on their premises. Not bad. But here's the deal. Will Clayton Howard be compensated for his pain and suffering? Because I know a lot of y'all like to talk about how Cassie suffered. Well, this guy suffered too. He said he suffered. And another thing is this, fam. Clayton said, man, you know, I wasn't like just out there willy-nilly. You know, I had respect for my body. I wasn't just sleeping with a bunch of different women, and I wasn't just having unprotected sex. Clayton thought that he was the only one. Clayton thought he was the only one. According to Clayton, he thought he was the only one. He didn't know Cassie was flipping all these dudes. He didn't know that every weekend it was a freak off. He didn't know. He thought he was somebody. He thought he was something special. And he didn't know that, you know, Cassie, you know, she didn't care about, well, I guess I won't say that, but she didn't care about all of that. Cassie was trying to get her rocks off, getting her groove on. A lot of people try to say she was just doing it for Diddy, but no, as I said before, she had to get some pleasure out of that after 10 years of that, 10 straight years of that. It's no way possible she did that, and she's Diddy's main girl, and she did that only for Diddy. No way possible. There's too many women that's willing to do it without all of those stipulations. It's no way possible she didn't get some enjoyment out of it. And turns out in the courtroom, by her own admission, she did get some pleasure out of it. So Cassie has suffered a new legal setback after a judge ruled that she has been evading service to Clayton Howard's freak-off lawsuit. She's now officially considered unreachable by federal court, clearing the way for Clayton to serve her through alternative means. Yeah. So Clayton has been dodging, Cassie has been dodging Clayton's lawsuit. The judge said, no, 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 no. Come on with it. Clayton said, man, yeah, man, you know, she had my baby. I had unprotected sex with her. You know, she got pregnant. She aborted the baby without my knowledge. This has ruined my reputation. I don't know how much of that gonna go, how much of that will fly, because Clayton, you're a whole prostitute out here, bro. You know, hey, I gotta call a striker ball. You know, I'm not a fan of Cassie, but I gotta call a striker the ball. You're a prostitute, bro. You're a prostitute. You know, you want me to believe that you were loyal to somebody, that you wasn't slanging it everywhere, and anybody who could pay for it, anybody willing to pay for it? You telling me you wasn't slanging it to him? You was just saying like, no, I'm with Cassie now, so you know I'm not gonna rent it out. I'm not gonna rent out the meat this week. Rent out the meat. Yeah. So Buddy trying to get his payday. You know, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. He trying to get his money, like Cassie got her money, and like a few other people got their money. He trying to get his money. So I can't blame him. Hey man, nothing beat a failure but a trial. She's sitting over there. She got the money. She got 20 million. At least she got at least 17 million when she spent a little of it. But she probably sitting on at least 10 more. She probably got at least 10 million hanging around. So yeah, go get that money, man. Go get some of that money. Wouldn't it be poetic justice if he was able to sue Cassie in excess of what she has currently on her. What if he was able to come back and get a $30 million judgment? The same amount that she sued Diddy for, or the same amount that she ended up in judgments. She ended up with in judgments, 30 million. What if she's able to do that? What if he's able to successfully win a $30 million judgment? Cassie gonna have to get back out there. Old buddy gonna have to get back to training. Yeah, 30 million. Everybody is making money off this scheme. And Clayton Howard said, man, why not me? Why not me? Cassie has been suing for participating in illegal acts. She's been suing. She got paid for participating in illegal acts. She got paid. A lot of people don't like this dude, though. They don't like Clayton. I don't know what it is, but they don't like Clayton. They don't like him. For some reason, they do not like him. And they say a lot of nasty things about it. Mainly women, though. It's mainly women. Mainly women are saying bad things about him. So I'm assuming that these same women was probably saying nice things about Cassie. I don't see how you can say so many nice things about Cassie. Yeah, Diddy got to her when she was young, but at some point, she wasn't so young and innocent. At some point, she became an accomplice. Think about what I'm saying, fam. How forgiving would you be of a person who was manipulated by an older person, right? Let's say a person was manipulated by an older person, and that older person got them to break into people's homes and essay them. You know, let's say that their motive was to break into people's homes, rob them of their jewelry and money, and essay them, right? And let's say they did it the first time, okay, boom. And let's say the person did it 5 more times. And then maybe 20, maybe 30 times. And each time they was with that person. And then let's just say at some point, they have such a relationship whereas this person can now come and go as they choose. They can do whatever they want to do. They don't have to be with this other person that manipulated them. They can go and commit the acts by themselves or with others. And then next thing you know, everybody get busted. And the person who continued these acts at their own free will, maybe it was at the behest of that person, but still it was at their own free will, and they were grown. Do that person get to walk scot-free as long as they point to the other person? Or do they have to pay for any of those crimes they committed while they were doing what they were doing? Do they pay for any of that? Or they get to just walk scot-free? How does that go? I think it sets a horrible precedent. I think it sets a horrible precedent, because that means everybody out there who decides that you want to commit a crime, you want to get involved in a criminal enterprise. That means you can be involved in a criminal enterprise. And as long as you ain't number one, if something go bad, you can point at number one and you go home. They go to jail. And you got all that criminal history on your record. You got blood on your hands. But because you pointed at number one, you go home. Nah, fam. Now, there has to be some repercussions. There has to be some type of retribution. There has to be some punishment. Otherwise, what is the incentive for change behavior? I submit to you that there is none. There is none. Let's see what y'all saying in the comments. China caught up. What's up, China? Bug Horse, what it do? Nehemiah, what's up? What's up, Kenneth? Marcus changed. I always say survival encourages greed, but discipline controls greed. Lack of knowledge destroys everything. Survival encourages greed. It's 516 TJ. What up? Is that Chaik Hiru? Mike Nice. K Ivory, what's up? Yep. It's America, fam. This is America. What a wild, crazy, beautiful place, man. What a wild, crazy, beautiful place. I did see, let me see, I did see one other story that I really wanted to cover, and I'm trying to find it right now. Where is it? Where is that story? Coming up on it, coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Let's see. I think this story, this is a developing story. I think this story is gonna blow up over this week. Let's see. Let me find the story. Here is it? Where is it? You got Cinnabon, you got Restaurant, you got that. Where is this story? Okay, here we go. I think I'm on it right now. Okay, here we go. So, family, we got an ex-football star shot dead after allegedly pulling a gun on officers. Let me take this from over here, bring it over here, and boom. Let's see. We'll do that like that. I really despise going to these pages and they have all these damn ads everywhere. Just ads just popping up left and right. Okay, so here we go. Okay, fam. We got an ex-college football star, 27, shot dead by cops after allegedly pulling a gun on officers. This is a story that I found on the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is a UK publication, but they stay in American business. Former Memphis football star Landry Thomas was shot dead by police in Georgia after allegedly pulling a gun on officers. He was 27. An investigation is underway after the incident on Thursday, which was sparked by a 911 caller who claimed a man had assaulted her while she was walking her dog. Police found the man, identified as former defensive back Thomas, at a bus stop in Sandy Springs, a city just north of Atlanta. During the conversation, Thomas pulled a gun from his waistband, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said. One officer then shot Thomas, injuring him. Then shot him how many times? He was rushed to the hospital, with the GBI reporting that the 27-year-old was initially in a critical condition before being pronounced dead later on Thursday. No officers were hurt during the incident. Yeah, it's usually like that. Thomas, a native of Jackson, Mississippi, spent 3 seasons with the Memphis Tigers before 2017 and 2019. He appeared in 14 games for Memphis as the Tigers reached the Cotton Bowl in 2019. Well, I look like a weightlifter. One of those, what do they call those dudes? Those fitness dudes like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's him. Looks like he left a child behind. So I never heard of this youngster, but the reason I covered this is because, oftentimes you really don't see these type of cases where they kill notable people. If you really pay attention to the way police kill, you never hear about police killing celebrities. You never hear about the police killing gang members. You never hear about the police kill the robber, people who terrorize the neighborhood. Think about what I'm saying, fam. Think about what I'm saying. Usually when they kill our best in terms of those people who have potential, right? They kill our potential. They kill our young people who are in school. They kill our young people who are in college. They kill our hardworking 9-to-5 men, and sometimes women. That's who they kill. Now, they assassinate celebrities. So I want to be clear about that. They will assassinate a celebrity, but that's a coordinated coordinated thing that they do with higher ups. That ain't just no regular police activity. That's big league. Oh, they got to go. Oh, he got to go. Let's get him. So we can get this so-called beef started. I'll keep it going. But think about what I just said, fam. When's the last time you heard the police killed a black person? They said, oh yeah, he was a gang member and he had just came home from killing 5. He had killed 5 people. He just got out of prison. He was a killer. They don't kill killers. They kill innocent people. Oftentimes innocent, unarmed people. That's who they kill. Yeah. Think about what I'm saying, fam. I'm not making this up. I wish I was making it up, but I'm not making this up. Those are the people they kill. I'd like to see what was going on with the story, though. It says that the GBI, hold on, let me put up a pic of Buddy again. Well, let me share this with y'all again. The GBI will conduct an independent investigation. Once the investigation is complete, it will be turned over to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office for review, a statement confirmed. Thomas's body will be taken to the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office for an autopsy. In the wake of his death, a GoFundMe has been set up to help support Thomas's young daughter, Layla. Layla's world changed forever, and our family is left devastated, confused, and searching for answers. Landre was a father, a son, a brother, a friend, and someone deeply loved by his child. His daughter is now facing life without her father because of an incident that never should have happened. The family is fighting for justice and accountability, to understand what truly happened and to give their daughter the justice her father deserves. The page reads, as we push for transparency, body cam footage, investigation findings, and answers, we are facing legal and administrative expenses. This fight is not easy, and we want to ensure the daughter's rights are protected. Donations will go towards funeral and memorial expenses, as well as long-term support for Layla, including counseling and therapeutic support for her trauma. So remember, I was just talking to you guys about how to be on code, how these people are, how they're on code when things like this happen. So she had to do all this explaining about what needs to be done and when we already know what comes with that. We've seen enough of these type of cases to know what comes with that. And so we already know what the family needs. They shouldn't have to explain this stuff every time. If you're gonna donate, you should just donate. Here's the GoFundMe. $280 raised of $1,100. $280 raised, fam. If the family suspects that this man was murdered by the police, I'm willing to give a family the benefit of doubt, just because of the history of law enforcement and Black men. I'm willing to give a family the benefit of doubt. Also, if law enforcement was innocent, we all know that we would see the video by now. Whenever they know they got a good kill, they release the video immediately. That video has yet to be released. I wonder why. Why? Why has that video not been released? I don't trust it. I do not trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust their process. This is not me being cynical. This is me being cautious. This is me being real. This is me looking at what the history of these relationships look like. These interactions, these encounters look like. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm automatically siding with the family. I'm looking at the history of the police, and I don't trust it. I'm looking at the history of law enforcement. Based on that history, I have concluded that I would trust the family's evidence and information before I trust law enforcement, before I dare trust law enforcement. Speaking of trusting law enforcement, J. Cole
asked me, like, don't you think there's good cops?
Of course.
But this is the thing. I think there are good and great people who are cops.
Right.
But I think the term good cop
It's a conundrum.
It's an oxymoron.
Right.
Because the job ain't good.
The job ain't good.
The machine, they are a part of a machine that's not good. They are agents of a machine that are not good. Are there good people in those roles? Absolutely.
Right.
Great people who really thought they were joining to make a difference and make a change, but now find themselves currently fucking up people's days. And
y'all catch that? So according to J. Cole, there are good people, there are great people in those jobs, but the job itself is not good. The job itself is not good. I would liken that to perhaps even working at a prison. There are some good people who work at prisons. I know firsthand. But the job itself is not good. The job itself is not good. There are some good people who are doctors. There are some good people who are nurses. That's even a better example. But the job itself is not good. You can be a nurse and you go in, you got the best intentions. You want to help heal the world. You get in there, you go to school for X amount of years, you get your certification, you get your license, whatever it is that's required, and now you're working, you're living the dream. Next thing you know, what happens is you start seeing things that you're not supposed to see. You start seeing things that you didn't expect to see. You start witnessing malpractice. And you want to say something about it. So you say something about it to your superiors. And they go like, they sweep it under the rug, or they dismiss it. Now you're saying to yourself, that's wrong. That's not right. And then you realize that, I can make some noise about this. What should I do? So you talk to your people that you talk to, your confidants. You talk to your spouse. You talk to your family, people that you trust. You talk to maybe another coworker. And ultimately you decide, you know what, let me just leave it alone. This is bigger than me. I ain't gonna be able to change this. This is how things are, and this is how that person is, and I can't say, if I say something, I could lose my job. Next thing you know, you see it happening again. Then it happens again. Each time that it happens, you become just a little bit more insensitive to it happening. Or at the very least, you become a little bit more tolerant of it happening, at the very least. And next thing you know, it just happens. And now you realize it's so bad that, man, if you say something about this, you definitely gonna lose your job. Sometimes it's so scary you could lose your life, depending on what capacity you're working in, who you're giving up. It could get really bad for you. So you decide, what, let me just go to work, do the best I can. Let me, when I'm on the job at least, let me treat the patients right. When I'm on the job. And so people, a lot of times, they reconcile staying by saying, you know what, at least when I'm on the job, it ain't as bad. The patients will get good care when I'm working. That's what people think a lot of times. And because if they don't have some good people there at all, then it's all day, every day, you got monsters dealing with these monsters. So people just kind of like go along to get along. Police officers are the same way. I personally know some good dudes, and I know that they're under tremendous pressure being a police officer, because you're going to get people talking about dirty cops ain't nothing and this and that. And being a cop, that's not really you, but that is the culture of cops. That's the culture of law enforcement. And you're in that culture. You're part of that culture. And so you just got to take it on the chin. When people talk about cops and they speak it with a broad stroke, you got to just take it on the chin and say, yeah, well, they're not lying. I'm not like that. And it hurts when they say that, but it is what it is. So you have the situations where you have police officers going in, initially thinking that they're going to go in and save the world. They're going to go in and get the bad guys. And they realize that, shit, the bad guys got the uniforms on. The really, really bad guys are in uniform. Damn. They probably thought, okay, I know it. I know it's bad cops out here. I know it's, people say it's a culture and da-da-da. But when you go to the academy, you're having fun, everything's good, everything look right, it looks good. Then you mess around and get assigned to a department. And you go out there and sometimes you figure it out the first day. Like that training movie. What they call it, training, the training day. Like training day. You mess around on the first day, you get 30 years of being a cop in one day. And you be like, what the hell? They got them out there like that. They got road cops out there right now that's just like Denzel in Training Day. Just like Lonzo in Training Day. It's cops out there on the beat right now. They're drunk. They're high. They're doped up. They're woman beaters. They neglect their children. They're child abusers. They violate the citizens every chance they get. They're on the beat right now. They're out there driving around in those cars right now. They're pulling up to somebody's house right now to so-called de-escalate or step in on a domestic violence situation. They have no coping skills whatsoever. They're morally bankrupt, but they're injecting themselves in people's lives every day. So I absolutely agree with what J. Cole said. That because like I said, if I didn't know any good cops, if I didn't know really good dudes, real good dudes as cops, if I didn't know them, I would say, yeah, it's all of them, all day, every day. And so when he makes that distinction that, yeah, the job itself, if you're that role, a good cops, the role itself, the job itself is bad. So ain't no good cops. The cop, ain't no good cops. There's some great people, some good people who are cops. Some people getting confused on that. But you'll catch it. You'll pick up what I'm putting down later. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Appreciate y'all joining the live tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel, 2 p.m. Central. No more talk.